sprinkles, Santa Claus's special elf. Because everything is special with sprinkles. He has something to say to you. So listen close as Santa Claus shares holiday cheer with you. You can leave a special message for Santa Claus and get on the nice list at www.santaclaussays.net. Now here is the big man himself, Santa Claus!
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas to all the boys and the girls of all ages and situations around the world who come to see Santa Claus here at my workshop here at the North Pole, where we are getting closer and closer and closer to Christmas Day. Here at SantaClausSays.net, and we welcome you to our daily program where we give you three things every day. We give you Christmas cheer, we tell an adventure story about Santa Claus, and we read a letter to Santa. You can find all about Santa Claus at SantaClausSays.net. That's where you can leave me a voice message. You can leave me a text message, or you can leave me a email. And you leave the email at SantaClausSays.net/present, and I will send you a present in your email. So I'd love to hear from you. We're here to serve you. We want you to know you can also get a personalized video from Santa and also a personalized video chat, a Zoom call from Santa there at SantaClausSays.net. And then this Saturday, the 6th, we do this every day during Christmas time of 2023. And then Saturday, December 16th and Saturday, December 23rd at 9 o'clock a.m., we have breakfast with Santa Claus live on YouTube. You go to youtube.com/@SantaClausSays, and we'll have breakfast together. I'll have my hot cocoa and cookies, and we'll join together with breakfast for some special surprises. We love to be with you and love to listen to you and love to have a great time together. There's our Glockenspiel, boys and girls, which is where our elf Sprinkles tells us by ringing the chimes it's time for our story. And our story comes to us courtesy of the good people at the Gutenberg Project, who are allowing us to read The Life and Adventures of Santa Claus by L. Frank Baum during this Christmas time season of 2023. This is the same person who wrote the book called The Wizard of Oz. And many of you are familiar with that story about the Wizard of Oz and how there's all kinds of interesting and fun characters and a little bit of danger in the Wizard of Oz story. And so it is here in our story today with the adventure, the life and the adventures of Santa Claus. There is some danger and there's some adventure. In fact, in our story, so far Santa Claus has, among other things, encountered this evil group of elf-like creatures, not the good elves, but these kind of bad elves called the Agwas, and they captured Santa Claus, and it led to this battle, this war between the forest creatures and of the bad creatures, the battle between good and evil. So this story today is from chapter 7 from the second part of the book called The Manhood of Jesus, and it is a continuation of the story we began the previous episode of Santa Claus Says, SantaClausSays.net. And remember, you can always go back and hear the whole story if you go back and listen to all of our episodes. And don't forget any upcoming episodes we hear every single day. And we pick up the story between the great battle of good and evil between the master woodsman, the great Ak and his forces, and the evil Agwas. So let's begin. Thus arose a terrible war between the immortals and the spirits of evil, which is sung of in fairyland to this very day. The King Agua and his band determined to carry out the threat to destroy Claus. They now hated him for two reasons. He made children happy, and he was a friend to the master woodsman. But since Ak's visit, they had reason to fear the opposition of the immortals, and they dreaded defeat. So the king sent swift messengers to all parts of the world to summon every evil creature to his aid. And on the third day after the declaration of war, a mighty army was at the command of King Agua. There were 300 Asiatic dragons, breathing fire that consumed everything it touched. These hated manhood and all good spirits. And there were three-eyed giants of Tatari, a host in themselves, who liked nothing better than to fight. And next came the black demons of Patalonia, with great spreading wings, they like those of a bat, which swept terror and misery through the world as they beat up on the air. And joined to these were the Goozle goblins, with long talons as sharp as swords, and with which they clawed the flesh from their foes. Finally, every mountain agua in the world had come to participate in the great battle with the immortals. And King Agua looked upon the vast army, and with his heart beat high with a wicked pride, for he believed he would surely triumph over his gentle enemies, who had never before been known to fight. But the master woodsman had not been idle. None of his people were used to warfare, yet now that they was called upon to face the host of evil, they willingly prepared for the fray. Ak had commanded them to assemble at the Laughing Valley, where Claus, ignorant of the terrible battle that was to be waged on his account, was quietly making toys. Soon the entire valley from hill to hill was filled with the little immortals. The master woodsman stood first, bearing a gleaming axe that shone like burnished silver. Next came the Riles, armed with sharp thorns from bramble bushes. Then the Canucks, bearing the spears they used when they were forced to prod their savage beast into submission. The fairies, dressed in white gauze with rainbow-hued wings, bore golden wands, and the wood nymphs, in their uniforms of oak green leaves, carried switches from ash trees as weapons. Loud laughed the Agua King when he beheld the size and the arms of his foes. To be sure, the mighty axe of the woodsman was to be dreaded, but the sweet-faced nymphs and pretty fairies and gentle Riles and crooked Canucks were such harmless folk that he almost felt shame at having called such a terrible host to oppose them. Since these fools dare fight, he said to the leaders of the Tatari giants, I will overwhelm them with our evil powers. To begin the battle, he poised a great stone in his left hand and cast it full against the sturdy form of the master woodsman, who turned it aside with his axe. Then rushed the three-eyed giants of Tatari upon the Canucks, and the Goozle goblins upon the Riles, and the fire-breathing dragons upon the sweet fairies. Because the nymphs were Ak's own people, the band of Agua sought them out, thinking to overcome them with ease. But it's the law of what evil, unopposed, may accomplish terrible deeds. The powers of good can never be overthrown when opposed to evil. Well had it been for the King Agua had he known the law. His ignorance cost him his existence, for one flash of the axe borne by the master woodsman of the wood cleft the wicked king in twain and rid the earth of the vilest creature it contained. Greatly marveled the Tatari giants when the spears of the little Canucks pierced their thick walls of flesh and sent them reeling to the ground with howls of agony. Woe came upon the sharp-taloned goblins when the thorns of the Riles reached their savage hearts and let their lifeblood sprinkle all over the plain, and afterwards from every drop of thistle grew. The dragons paused astonished before the fairies' wands, from whence rushed a power that caused their fiery breaths to flow back on themselves, so they were shriveled away, and they died. As for the Aguas, they had scant time to realize how they were destroyed, for the ash switch of the nymphs bore a charm unknown to the Agua, and turned their foes into clods of earth at the slightest touch. When Ak leaned upon the gleaming axe and turned to look over the field of battle, he saw the few giants who were able to run disappearing over the distant hills on their return to Tatari. The goblins had perished, every one, as had the terrible dragons, while all that remained of the wicked Aguas was a great number of earthen hillocks dotting the plain. Now the immortals melted from the valley like dew at sunrise to resume their duties in the forest, while Ak walked slowly and thoughtfully to the house of Claus and entered. You have many toys ready for the children, said the woodsman, and now you may carry them across the plain to the dwellings in the villages without fear." "Will not the Aguas harm me?" asked Claus eagerly. "The Aguas," said Ak, "have perished. Now I will gladly have done with wicked spirits with the fighting and bloodshed. It was not from choice that I told the Aguas and their allies of the great battle with the immortals. They were part of this history, which could not be avoided." That ends chapter 7 from the second part of the book, the great battle between good and evil. What an exciting story we have going here, boys and girls. I want you to tune in again on our next episode of Santa Claus Says, when we'll read chapter 8, the first journey of the reindeer. You do not want to miss the story about the reindeer. Remember, we read this story, The Life and the Adventures of Santa Claus, every day here at SantaClausSays.net. Well, there it is, boys and girls. There is our message, our chime from Sprinkles, that says it's time now to read our letter from Santa to Santa. And it goes like this. "Dear Santa, my name is Sharon, and Mommy says that I have been so nice this year. I should be the angel atop the Christmas tree. I helped Mommy without complaining and did all the shopping, but I was want to ask how everyone is doing, like Mrs. Claus and your reindeer and elves. If possible, I would really like a beautiful necklace and a nightgown and a grape soda. But what I really want is something for Mommy this year. She says she does not have a waist anymore. So maybe she will get that. I really loved what you got me last year. I still use them." What a wonderful letter from Sharon. And we read letters like that here every day here at Santa Claus Says. And we want you to know that you can send me a letter or a voicemail or a text at SantaClausSays.net. You just go to that website, SantaClausSays.net. There's a place there to leave me a voicemail or a text message, which I get on my purple cell phone, or there's also a place to leave me a email, and you can go to SantaClausSays.net/present to leave me an email. I hope that you'll do just that. Well, boys and girls, there is our chime from Sprinkles saying it is time to close this episode of Santa Claus Says. We hope that you enjoyed it. What a wonderful story we had today. You can join us every day here at SantaClausSays.net, where we bring Christmas cheer, and we bring a wonderful adventure story, and we bring a letter to Santa. Don't forget that you can also find out more about a video from Santa and also a video chat, a Zoom call with Santa there at SantaClausSays.net. I'm here with you every day through Christmas. We've got some special surprises, including Saturday, December 16th and Saturday, December 23rd. That's the day before Christmas Eve, where we have Breakfast with Santa Claus live on YouTube. That's at 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time. So some of you may need to adjust accordingly for your time zones. At 9 o'clock Eastern Time, Saturday, December 16th, Saturday, December 23rd. That's where you can interact with Santa. We tell special stories and do special funny games here on Santa Claus Says on Breakfast with Santa, where I will have my cookies and my cocoa, and that is what I would like for you to leave me on Christmas Eve. Remember, Santa Claus loves you and listens to you and is with you and for you every day during Christmas. Until next time, boys and girls, remember that Santa Claus says, be good for goodness sakes. We will see you next time, boys and girls, here on SantaClausSays.net. Goodbye and Merry Christmas. Goodbye.
You're special to Santa Claus, just like Sprinkles. Get on Santa's nice list at SantaClausSays.net and watch Santa Claus Says on YouTube. Tell him Sprinkles sent you.